The Captain America that just came out, Captain America Brave New World, was my favorite Captain America.
Oh, good. Okay.
And if anybody said anything bad when it came out, I was on there in the comments going crazy. I was like, you better not talk bad about this movie.
Good.
But, you know, how do you deal with that? Especially when, in my eyes, I thought it was a really good film and I thought it set the foundation for the future of what's going to happen. I think it was about time to see something like that. But how do you deal with, like, all of the commentary that comes with these films?
Yeah, I think it's like boom, boom, you know?
Like, whatever.
I think, because it was the same with Princess and the Frog. It was the same with, in Living Color, frankly. You know, a lot of people are like, well, why do you need a black, Saturday Night Live? We have one. And that was the thing that kind of cracked me up, is that so many comments were not about the movie.
It's about other things, and it's like...
like, okay, wait a minute. Did you like the movie or not? You know, I mean, sometimes it's just about, do you want to go in the movie, get some popcorn, sit in the dark, have a good time, leave, tell your friends. End of story. You know, let everything else be about what it is. And as a writer, you can only control for it. Make an enjoyable film, and then you're done.
That's exactly what I say when I write my reviews. I'm like, did I go in and enjoy this movie, or am I writing an analytical essay about every little thing that... And I don't like that, because I'm like, if I enjoyed a movie and I had fun and I was not on my phone, not distracted, then it was a great film.
Exactly.
And
I mean, sometimes you're like, oh, it was raining and, I had a terrible ham sandwich. And then you sit in a movie and you write about the rain and the ham sandwich. It's like, no.
Exactly.
Nobody cares. So yeah, just enjoy the film or don't enjoy the film. You don't enjoy the film, tell me why. I want to know that as much as anything else.
So I know the story kind of had a lot of changes. Is there anything you can talk about, like what the changes were from like the initial? Because I know it went through like different production, different changes, different writing. When you came on, how did you want to tell the story?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of kind of mythology about how the movie came to be. The fact that there was like, people say, oh, wholesale changes and stuff like that. That's not necessarily true. The reshoots, is kind of a little bit, made from whole cloth. Movies take time to make.
Exactly.
During the production of this movie, there was quarantine. It was, I started my work in 2020. So, and that was during quarantine. We came out of that for a stretch, and then there was the strike, and then the strike on top of the strike. Those lasted longer than people remember. It was almost a year. And then there was production. And no matter what movie you're making, you're always going to reshoot stuff. And so there's a natural progression of filmmaking. And it's easy to misinterpret that. And it's easy if somebody gets on the internet and starts blowing it up,
going on Reddit
to go, and then what is it? A lie makes its way halfway around the world before the truth puts its boots on, and so I think it suffered from a little bit of that.
Yeah, and we're gonna shut that down right here. Here's the truth, it's really good to put that out there, because I hate when a film gets lost in all of the sauce, as we call it. And it sucks, because it's a great film. Is there anything you can tease about the future of the story? Because when the ending, I was like, man, I want more. And then
you're going to put me in Marvel jail?
I'm going to try not to put you in Marvel jail. I almost put Joe Locke in Marvel jail.
People, as you ask the question, there are men in black suits
pulling up like, oh.
right. No, I can't really speak to it.
It's just going to be a great story.
I think that the guys at Marvel tell great stories, and will continue to, and they take it seriously, and the films have fantastic characters and great arcs. I think that you are in good hands, when you see the Marvel logo come up on them.
Definitely. Now, I do want to ask, did you watch the recent Avengers Doomsday casting announcement that took like 9 days?
I see. Right. I saw some of it, and it was like, oh, I'm a fan first,
Exactly.
A geek first, and then a writer second. So even as I'm writing the movie I want to see, and so I see those announcements, and I'm going, okay, I'm going to pitch my tent and sit in line and wait for tickets. And I think it's exciting that they're bringing that back to movies, because how many of us have sat in empty movie theaters over the last couple of years?
Especially now that there's so much streaming and people are even though I think the experience is better in a theater, you know, hearing the noise, laughing with other people.
Yes.
It's also sometimes hard to get out of the house.
Yeah.
And, you know, the movie price, tickets just keep going up, especially in the US and England, it's still cheap.
Yeah.
But
what was it? Quentin Tarantino just this week said, what is a movie now?
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes you're in a theater or you see a movie is coming out, and by the time you can buy tickets, it's already on streaming.
Yeah.
And they're in theaters just to buy legitimacy for streaming. So and frankly, some movies aren't. You know, they're not even trying to be big movie, big theater experiences. So it's good to have trusted names that you can go to and say, okay, this is going to be a theatrical experience. I'm going to cheer, laugh, and cry in the theater, and talk about it when the lights come up. You know, and so that's, you know, we still have that.
I know, because I did see like a couple of movies that I went to like premieres for. They were on digital, like maybe like 2 weeks later, and I was huh? Like as a kid, I was like, wait, this is never gonna come out. I'm gonna wait like 6 months for it to come on DVD or whatever it was back then. Yeah. And now it's like, oh my God, I swear I just went to the movie premiere for this. It's out now. Like, it kind of takes away the magic a little bit, you know?
I think so.
So hopefully we can go back in time a little bit, but I don't know.
Or buy a massive screen TV.
Exactly. Is there anybody that you would have liked to see on that cast that wasn't shown to be on the Avengers Doomsday cast? I mean, I know they probably have more people that they're not telling us about, but
trust those guys to do what they do, the best they do.
I really want a Tobey Maguire. It's like my millennial, Spider-Man.
You never know. I mean, you know, like I was surprised that even with Brave New World that we were able to keep Sam Stern.
Yeah.
You know, there is that thing of like sometimes you don't want to know.
Yeah.
Sometimes you want to be in the theater and go like, whoa, that's a dude.
And I screamed when I saw a couple of surprises during Brave New World. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah,
and then,
you know, I mean, and now the movie's been out for a while, so spoilers. But you know, Bucky, you know, when the camera goes like,
look at the role he's playing, his job. Like, huh? How did he become?
And I'm in the theater incognito or whatever, just watching the audience, and you see the audience just blow up. And it's like, this is what movies are made for. This is what the experience is supposed to be. It's communal. It's cathartic. It's you know, you're not faking it. You know, You're like, oh, I'm thrilled.
You're like, wow, and I think I love, especially when I go to premieres and the cast and everybody who's worked on the movie watches it with you. It's like a little nerdy moment because it's like, how do they feel like seeing like their work on screen? Like, are they reacting like we're reacting, like screaming and yelling and all the stuff that we're doing?
Well, even like in Princess and the Frog, there's the moment, of course, you know, the sad moment. Yeah,
I know.
Towards the end. And I'm always, every time I've seen it at least a dozen times in theaters, it's really interesting to see what happens to the theater. You know, it gets really, really quiet, and then you hear people sniffling.
And you're like,
and you look back, you know, and you see people, you know, with tissues and, you know, hugging and stuff like that. And it's truly, truly wonderful. I think that's what, you know, if it's theater or whatever it is, I think that's why we gather in rooms to have these experiences.
I'm sorry. Somebody is calling
That's a great
Harry Potter ringtone. I'm like, that's
I know everything I need to know about you right now.
Yes. I'm not Team Slytherin. Party City was having the sale when they closed down, and this is all that was left.
Oh, funny. Okay.
So I was like, I'm going to take it.
Okay, yeah, sure.
This is short intermission. So I want to touch on The Princess and the Frog because that was one of the movies I loved as a kid, and our daughter also loves. But, you know, recently Disney, they were supposed to have I believe it was a mini-series, and they canceled it, but they're doing something short form. Do you plan on doing anything else with that? Because we were really upset when we heard that news. It was like heartbreak. And
I was thrilled when I heard about the ride.
The ride, I love across the street.
And then I was kind of heartbroken when I heard that there wasn't a series. Mainly because I think there is no such thing as too much and it can only rose.
Exactly.
You know? And I really love the idea that, you know, whatever they were going to do to continue the character. I don't know what happened. I hope that cooler heads prevail and maybe the series can be in some other form or there is some other way to do it. I always say, you know, there's no end to hope. It's been 15 years since the movie came out. We can wait maybe 2-3 years for somebody to, you know,
I hope so too, because, you know, I was 15 when that movie came out. So there's a whole new generation that needs to experience it as well. Obviously they've seen the original, but I feel like we just got a Snow White, you know, we're getting all of these, so it will be great to see it brought back a certain way. for other kids who are growing up to see that version of themselves, you know?
Absolutely.
So I hope so. If anybody's listening, please.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Please. Is there anything you want to add? Anything else you're working on that you would like to share?
No, okay.
That Marvel doesn't come and hide us
I do have 2 other movies coming out. This is a crazy year for me. So I have King of Kings, directed by Mofak and Korean animators doing the story of Jesus is told through Charles Dickens, and so it's an amazing. It's an amazing, beautiful film with a great cast. Kenneth Branagh's, Ben Kingsley, Pierce Brosnan, Forrest Whitaker, Uma Thurman, Mark Hamill.
I was looking at the panel yesterday. I was like, wow. I'd love to review it.
What a great movie. And then I also have Sneaks that I wrote and directed. And that's, Anthony Mackie and Lawrence Fishburne and Martin Lawrence, Chloe Bailey. That's a fun one that comes out on April 18th. And beyond that, I have Defiant, which is a comic book series right now, and the graphic novel comes out on Juneteenth. Wink, wink, and so that's fun. That's actually on sale here at the WonderCon, and soon to be in bookstores. So we're moving from comic book stores into the big adult bookstores, and so that's fun. So I'm staying busy.
Yeah, you have a lot going on. I would love to review those movies. I'm going to go buy a copy of Defiant.
Do it.
I really appreciate you speaking with me. I'm fully my nerdometer is here right now. So thank you.
Excellent.
And my embarrassing ringtone that you witnessed.
Yeah, right, exactly.
But obviously you also work with so many iconic people and just opening the doors for more, diversity, inclusivity, and we need to keep that going, and hopefully they hear us all out as they continue to do that and not do it just because it's popular.
Right, exactly.
They do it because we're all the same.
Well, and sometimes it has to work. That I think you can tell stories where I remember watching Crazy Rich Asians, and I'm not crazy or rich or Asian, but I thoroughly enjoyed the movie, and I was like, I'm crying at the end and stuff. And I have Caribbean heritage. And, we have meat patties, and then I see them doing the noodles, and I'm like, okay, one for one, I get you. So sometimes in the specificity, there is a universality.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that's when it gets really sweet, when you can, movies transport us to other places and other worlds and meet other people that you wouldn't normally meet. And as long as we can keep that going, I think we're going to be in good shape.
Very wise words. Well, thank you so much. It was a pleasure speaking with you, and we would love to have you back again.